This is the original walk and talk, and I'll explain why. This is Melissa, Cutting Through the Matrix, CTTM. And as some of you regular listeners will have heard, I got hopelessly behind on emails, and fortunately I am catching up, and that feels good. So someone sent me an email in July, and I knew who they were. I mean, I recognized the address and the name because it's a longtime listener to Alan Watt and someone who's communicated with Alan and me as well. But I missed this email that they sent in July. Cut to several weeks ago, probably about a month ago now, Neil Foster said to me, I am thinking about doing a little, taking the camera out, going for a walk with Jack, his dog, his black lab, and just talking. What do you think? And I said, well, yeah, just do it and let me know. And so he did, and he called it Jack's Walk and Talk, and I have posted 3 of those so far. There was a fourth, which was the first, but I didn't post that because the sound was not savable from all the wind and so background noise. So I've gone with Neil's numbering sequence, and what you got last was number 4. So finally catching up on the emails, and I see this one from, I'm going to call him Rare, and his dog Bruce. So I get the email and it said, I have been talking about Alan and I steer people to him and I wanted to show you what I'm doing. So last week I clicked on the link of what he's doing, his YouTube channel, and there it was, Walk and Talk. So back in July, he started a walk and talk in a different part of the world, and I'm not sure yet if he wants to talk about where it is, but you can see from the topography that it's a different part of the world than Neil. He has a black lab. So he called his walk and talk, and I am going to post the first of his walk and talks, which went up, actually it was longer ago than July. Am I that far behind? Maybe he didn't email me right away, but it looks like the first one went up in May. And I think he might have let me know what was going on sometime after that. This first one is called Enlightenment and Illumination. Now, I think that Rare has done so far, I don't have it right in front of me, but I think he has done 14 of these walk and talks, and I won't try to keep up with everything, but I am going to post this one today, and then I'm sure that I'll post some in the future. So I told Neil about it, and I said, now, it's just such an amazing coincidence that there are 2 longtime listeners to Alan Watt who have black lab dogs and want to walk and talk, call it a walk and talk, and share that with me. And Neil said, well, I can make the coincidence even bigger because I had a black lab in Ireland whose name was Bruce. So this is the small world, and if you are a long-time listener to Alan and you have a black lab and you feel like walking and talking and recording it and sending it to me, maybe we'll just start a collection. We'll see how many people out there love Alan, have a black lab, and want to share their thoughts and musings on any given day. So this is the original Walk and Talk 1, Enlightenment and Illumination. Thank you.
Survival is not enough. So I think we'll always start our walk and talks here. We can call this the bridge to reality. Can't we, Bruce? Alright, so as we cross the bridge, we'll start our walk and talk. So today's walk and talk is going to be a nice easy one, a nice light talk about enlightenment and illumination and what the difference is between the two. So you, as an individual, a unique person, you've got a unique soul. You have got your own road. And if you walk down your own road, you'll get to the end of that road and you'll find a number of hills that you have to walk over. And once you walk over those hills, you're going to find a mountain that you need to climb. And once you get to the top of that mountain, you're going to discover that there's a number of false peaks, dozens of them. And then after those false peaks, you'll finally get to a door. A door that only you can open. It could be, I guess, that door is uniquely made for you. It's your door to your truth. And only you can open it. Now, let's go back. As you set off on your road to discovery, as you set off on the road to reach the door to your truth, you have a number of other houses each side of the road with their doors held wide open by people who failed to make their doors. You'll have all different houses, the Christian house, the Islam house, the aliens house, the yogi house, the conspiracies house, the hippie house, the marijuana house. I mean, the houses are endless, as you know. There's so many rabbit holes out there that you can go and join. And those doors of those houses, like I say, are held open by people who never made it to their own door. So they failed at getting to their own door. So they're happy to hold the door open as you're trying to get down your own personal road to get to your own personal truth, to your own personal door of truth. These people are holding these doors open. Oh, come in here, to distract you, to pull you off the road, because they don't want you making your truth, because they didn't make theirs. Come into the house of this religion. We've got all the answers for you here. You don't want to walk down that hard, long road. You want to just come into our house and we'll give you all the answers, and then you can just rest up and take it easy. Come into the house of yoga. We'll give you all the answers. Come into the house of aliens. We'll give you all the answers. Sorry, Bruce. Good boy. We'll give you all the answers. Come into the house of Islam. We've got all the answers for you in here. Don't go down your hard road. Don't go down the road on your own. That's a hard road to go down. Let me see if I can't clean this camera up. I think it might have got a bit misty. How are we looking? Oh, it's pretty perfect. It's just because I'm walking, right? It might be blurry because I'm walking. So yeah, you're walking down your road and you've got all these other houses on each side of your road screaming at you to go into their house so that you don't go down your own road. And I myself have spent a little time looking at aliens, a little time looking in. I've spent a lot of time looking in all the different houses. I've gone in and had a peek and gone, actually, you know what? I can feel that they're talking crap and that they haven't got the truth that I'm looking for. They haven't got my truth. They haven't got my personal truth. They're not going to get me to my personal door. The door to my truth. They're not going to get me there. I could sense they were going to hold me back, and that's what they did. So I didn't spend very long in those houses. And I got back on the road. And I walked down that road, I tell you. And that's what you have to do. You have to walk down your own personal road. And it's difficult because it's lonely. And the other houses, like I say, on each side are calling you to go into their houses. Oh, you don't want to be alone? Come in with us. We'll give you the truth. Look, the truth is aliens. The truth is blah-de-blah. The truth is the Illuminati. Now, I'm not saying there's no elements of truth in those houses, but it's not the truth, and it's not your truth, and it certainly wasn't my truth. And so if you're strong enough, and if you're really earnest in your endeavours to find the truth, your personal truth, to get to your door, then you'll go into these houses for a short time and go, I'm sorry, and then you'll get back on your road. And it's a very, very, very lonely road. Do you know why it's a lonely road? Your personal road to your personal door of truth? Because only you can walk it. And everyone's road is different to everyone else's. So you decide to come out of those houses or not go in them in the first place and walk down your road as a lonely soul. And as you're walking down that road, it gets harder and harder and harder and more challenging. What started off as a nice tarmac road turns into gravel, and then that gravel turns into sharp objects and rocks, and then it starts to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and suddenly your road is just a very, very small track. And as you continue down your road alone, it starts to get harder and harder, as I say, and then comes the hills, the gradients, where it starts to go uphill. And all the way down your road to the foot of the first hill, you're carrying a bag, and you've been loading that bag up. You've been loading that bag up with everything you've needed to help you get down that road. And some of those gifts, some of the items that are given and granted to you, and certainly luck and synchronicity, what people call luck, synchronicity and coincidence, those things have come from divine guidance because you have continued on your road, and it's going to help you every single step of the way. And the more it helps you, the more energized you feel to continue down your road, even if it's alone, because you don't feel alone anymore, because you're getting help from a greater source. You're getting help and assistance, divine help and divine assistance from something greater than yourself. Now, you get to the foot of that first hill and you're carrying this bag, and then you get up and you climb up that first hill, and then there's another hill. And you're like, oh, really? Like a bit like this. There's a lot of hills here where I'm walking. And they're quite steep and long, some of them. So you get over the first hill and then there's another hill, and you're like, oh, I can't do it. Then you get over the second hill and there's another hill. And it feels like it's just endless hills. And sometimes you question whether you can even be bothered to keep going on this path anymore. And it can get so damn lonely and so damn hard that, you know, people will fall along the wayside on the drink, or fall into one of the other temptations and addictions that have been lavishly laid out for you by the system, so that you don't make it to your door. And that's why so few people do. So you get over that last hill, and your bag now the bag you've been carrying is now even bigger, with all of the items and all of the stuff that you've needed to get you through down the road and over them hills. And then you get over the last hill and you look up, and what do you see? A huge, huge mountain. And that's, you know, it breaks your morale. Of course it breaks your morale. And you really don't think that you can do it anymore. You thought, you know, you've done all that road, all of them trails, all of them hills, and now there's a mountain with snow on the top. So it's a really high mountain. And yet, many people will give up there. Most people have already given up ages ago. They've gone into one of them houses and let their truth be fed to them by somebody who didn't get to their truth. So, now you're at the base of this mountain. And with every ounce of being, you start to walk and you start to go up that mountain. And again, all the way through, you are assisted by divine guidance, bringing you fortune, luck, good fortune, luck, coincidence and synchronicity, what people call those things. And you start going up the hill, and what I mean by synchronicity, it can bring people into your life, it can bring animals, like Bruce is definitely one major synchronicity, one massive divine gift given to me for the path that I'm on. Right? I mean, it can come to you in all kinds of ways, but you know it's come from a divine place, and you know its intent is to help you, because you've got to get up that mountain next. You've got so far, and now you've got to get up that mountain. Now, you start to go up the mountain, and you get your synchronicities and coincidences and fortune and luck to help you. And as you start getting up that mountain, it's difficult all the way. And then you get to the peak of that mountain, the very top, and it's a false peak. It's fake. So beyond the peak you were looking at is another peak. And then you get up to the top of that peak, and then there's another false peak. And this goes on and on and on, designed to break you. Only very strong people, like I say, make it to their door, especially in these times. Because nature, the way the world works, nature needs the very best of human beings. It's like, I suppose, doing the selection course for the SAS. It needs the very best, so it weeds out all of the impurities, all of the impure. Anyway, so you're going over these false peaks and you keep going, and all the time you've been going on these travels, not only have you been getting luck, synchronicity and good fortune, but you've also been getting purified yourself. You've been purifying yourself. The whole undertaking is one long trek of purification, and it's been purifying you. The whole journey has been purifying you and getting you ready for something. It's getting you ready for that door when you finally get there. And you have to be pure when you get to your door. So, you finally get over all of the false peaks, and the bag has got massive now. It's like you've got a whole belt kit on. You've got a huge Bergen which weighs the same as another man. And finally, you get to your door. And wow, you know, what an accomplishment. You did it. You did what so many others could not do. And that you should be very proud of. Ultra proud of. And you don't need others to be proud of you. You can be proud of yourself for getting there. It's not about what others think. It's about what you know. So you get to your door, and hopefully you've got there with enough strength and energy to be able to open that door. Because that will be the time when you have to open the door. And you need strength to do that too. because what you're going to see beyond that door is going to change everything. And once you see something, you can't unsee it. So you open up the door and you look through, and what do you see? You see the absolute truth. You see your absolute truth. That door you've been struggling and walking and suffering and being lonely to and sacrificed to get to is only your door, and only you can open it. And when you open it, what you see is your absolute truth. You see the truth of everything. And I mean everything. Most people, like I say, if you get to that point, get to your door and open it and see the absolute truth behind everything, then kudos, because most people failed because they went into one of the skank houses. Or they failed because they stayed in one of them houses for too long, and by the time they left the house, they were too weak to make it to the end of the road, let alone over the hills and up the mountains of false peaks. And sometimes some people have wasted their time so badly that they will get that. Some of them make it to the door. This has got to be the saddest one. When people make it to the door and they're just too weak and frail to get that door opened. So if you open that door, you open the door to your truth, and you see the absolute truth through that door. Now this is a pivotal moment. This moment is called enlightenment. You are now enlightened to the reality, to truth, to pure, unadulterated truth. That's called enlightenment. And this is a pivotal point and can force people, because too much information too fast sends a man mad. And that level of knowledge and gnosis can get people, especially who had addictions, back on those addictions very, very quickly. Because it's a frightening thing, right? But it gets worse. We're not done yet. So you finally get to your door, open it and look through. You're only looking through the door. And you're seeing the absolute truth. And that's called enlightenment. You are now enlightened to reality and the truth of reality. Now the next step is a far greater challenge. The next step, you have to leave absolutely everything that you've carried. That whole bag with all them items that you've been collecting all along the way that have been helping you get to that door. You've got attached to that bag. You've got attached to those items. That bag and those items, without those, you would never have made it to your door. But in order for you to step in through that door and become the living truth yourself, become a part of absolute reality by walking through that door, you have to leave everything at the entrance, because none of that stuff is allowed through that door. None of it functions. None of it functions. None of it has a function in truth, and therefore it must be discarded. And this comes down to everything as well. Kind of like family, friends, even people that have helped you all the way down that road. You have to leave it all behind. You have to leave it all behind to walk through that door. And that's the make or break moment. People don't want to leave that bag. I've got attached to this bag. I don't want to leave my bag. Why would I want to leave my bag? It got me here. I don't want to leave my friends and family and all the things I've got attached to in the physical world. I love it all. I love all the creatures and all the animals. I love my friends and my family. The truth doesn't care. And when people suddenly realise that they have to drop everything and walk through that door, they hesitate. Most of them get back on their addictions, start drinking themselves into oblivion to shut down what they have to do because they find it too challenging. Now, if you're strong enough to go all the way down that road, miss all of those houses, over the hills, up the mountain of false peaks, get to your door, and then you're strong enough to open your door and strong enough to look through the door and witness reality, your truth, then you are strong enough to be enlightened. And if you're strong enough to walk through, leave absolutely everything at the entrance of that door, and then walk through that door and become a part of that living truth, then, my dear friend, you become illuminated. And being illuminated is even fewer and far between for people to go through that door, to become illuminated. What comes with illumination? Why would anyone want to do it? Well, an illuminated person lives in truth all the time. They can't be stopped. They can't be hurt or harmed. They have absolutely no fear. Illuminated people have absolutely no fear. They are living in complete truth, and everything in the world goes their way. It reminds me of that phrase from the Bible. And again, I'm not religious, but the Bible does help. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked. I think this is Psalm number 1. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits at the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. He's like a tree planted by stream. Hear these birds, look, they've heard me. Listen, these birds are making that noise because they've heard me and Bruce coming. This is so beautiful. Anyway, so where was I? Yeah, Psalm 1. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. He's like a tree planted by streams of water. He brings forth his fruit in season, his leaf does not wither, and in everything he does, he prospers. The wicked are not so. They are like chaff that the wind blows away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish. Just have a listen to these little ones. Woo, woo, woo. See, it's straight back. Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo, woo. Oh, I love them so much. Right, so I think, this video's gone on quite a bit. Let me finish off. With a quick summary. So, enlightenment is getting down the road, avoiding all the phony houses of religion, yogis, this guru, that guru, space aliens, left wing, right wing, science, atheist, theist. Forget all those houses. You get that, walk down your road, get to the hill, walk over the hills, many of them, then come to the mountain of false peaks and get over that mountain and the false peaks and get to your door, open up your door and look through the door, and you see your ultimate truth. You see ultimate reality. That's called enlightenment. A person that's at that stage of the game is enlightened. And then the person leaving everything they've accumulated on that long road, hills and mountain, his big bag, his family, his friends, Everything in the physical world has to be left at the door, at the entrance, for the person to walk into the door of their truth and become a part of the truth themselves, a part of the living truth themselves. And once a person does that, that's called illuminated. That person is then illuminated. Woo, woo, woo. A Rooski. Hello, Rooski Roo. Oh, Rooski Roo. Right, we'll leave it. We'll leave it there. I hope this video helps you. I'm going to give you a deal. If we make it on whatever channel we're on, once we make it to 100 subscribers or followers, we'll drop another walk and talk. Be blessed. Be kind. Goodbye.